Hello and welcome back to the Property Show. This is our premiere edition and we are glad you could join us. Affordable housing is one of the key pillars of the Big Four agenda, but is the government ready to undertake this project? We engage the private sector to hear their plea to the government. But first, a rare opportunity to invest in a luxurious townhouse in the outskirts of Nairobi. Situated in one of the best controlled residential locations on Katani Road in Syokimau, this could be the only project of its kind in a very long time. Fairfield Gardens is only 13.5 kilometers from the central business district and is built on a 5-acre piece of land. This is truly a hidden gem. The developers wanted people to be happy when they live here, and that is evident once you enter any of the meticulously done, spacious 74-bedroom units, which all come with fitted Italian kitchens. Each house is 190 square meters in size. This house simply feels like home. A semi-solid wooden finish door welcomes you to the hallway that invites you to your privacy through the long corridors leading to the living room. Here you see every part of the room. Thanks to the long and wide windows which occupy both the front and back side of the room to give you maximum natural light. Each window is fitted with burglar-proofing system for maximum security. The high gypsum ceilings help to give a sense of an even larger room here. Porcelain tiles with wood effect are used on the floors, while designer lampshades hang beautifully from the ceiling to complete the cozy feeling. Exotic wood effect finishes have been selected for the kitchen doors and cupboards. Glazed ceramic tiles for the backsplash and tasteful granite finishes have been used on the countertops. In addition, you have a high-quality European mixer tap and sink. A separate lockable fridge freezer compartment. A utility area is also positioned close to the kitchen door. So apart from the beautiful finishes in this kitchen, check this out. The pull-out trash can, just convenient, they keep the place clean. Nobody will ever notice that you even have trash. The master bedroom suite occupies the full width of the first floor and offers more than 40 square meters of space. The suite includes a walk-in wardrobe with color-coded interiors on the wardrobes, brushed aluminum finishes and taller heights for the ladies' dresses. Quite thoughtful, I must say. The bathroom has a frameless tough glass shower, a hand shower for those rare baby showering moments, a little dressing table, a his and hers sink, and a back-to-wall toilet. This is the ultimate luxurious master bedroom suite. The children's bedroom provides lots of opportunities for your child as well, and also comes with a burglar-proofing system. A shared bathroom and toilet is provided for the children's bedrooms. The bathroom comes with a frameless glass shower screen. All the tiles and sanitary ware used here are high quality imported from Europe. A solar system is also provided in every unit. A day servant's quarter and utility area is provided at the rear of each house. At the center of the recreational area will be a 15-meter-long swimming pool and an adjacent baby pool. Residents will have other shared amenities such as a convenience store, a daycare, a children's playground, and a clubhouse. All this luxury will come at a cost of $13.25 million once construction is complete. And if I were you, I'd put my money where Fairfield Gardens is in Syokimau.
You can never have enough storage. Whether you live in a tiny apartment, a big, enormous home, you always need storage for your stuff. So instead of just leaving things hanging around, cluttering your house, whether it's toys and books, you can find storage for them in a cardboard box in form of a beautifully and well done homemade storage box. And these are the items that you'll need. A cardboard box, and it doesn't have to be new. Your other ingredient will have to be the sisal rope, some glue, and scissors, your piece of fabric. So we will start from the bottom side of the box. You can make a tie over there so that I'm able to now start putting the glue on. Keep tying your rope, and remember you can use any kind of rope really. So the tighter it is, the more prettier it will look eventually. When you're done, you can keep pushing the rope down. As you tie, you also add your glue to make sure it stays in place. Remember, it won't be seen, so it's just a knot to make sure that the rope stays and doesn't come out. So finally we're on our last step, and it's basically to put in the fabric. So here we are. I think it looks pretty already. So I want to add one little extra thing, and that's the ribbon, because I want you to see how pretty my little storage box will be. Let's just have, we're almost there. Then I'm going to cut the extra piece of cloth, just so we don't have too much hanging over here. Then I'm going to just pull the extra piece on top. So I want to show you now how you can actually use our new box to store your tissue paper. It doesn't have to stay in the boring bag. The other use for our storage box is for keeping your books. Sometimes we have too many and we don't know how to store them. There we have our storage box, and it looks lovely and neat. Remember guys, you can share with us your DIY ideas. We'd love to show you as we go along. Just try out new stuff. Try out. It doesn't hurt to, and it'll make your room more functional and actually just really, really cool. Thank you so much for staying with us. Do you consider amenities and the infrastructure before building your home? That and much more after the break. So a lot has been said about affordable housing and the prospect it brings. But what has the government done to correct the past errors, and what role will the private sector play in the affordable housing agenda? To talk to us about this is Mr. Palkesh Shah, Vice Chair and founder of the KPDA Task Force on Affordable Housing. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks.
So, when was the task force established, and what is your role, and what are the achievements so far?
Task force is under the Kenya Property Developers Association, and as you all know, Kenya Property Developers Association started in 2006, and the task force itself was established in 2017, early 2017. We noticed and we realized there's a big housing shortage for affordable homes. And that's where we conceived the idea of coming up with a task force to see if we can crack the solution of how to deliver affordable homes.
So from your findings, because you came up with a very good report, what can you say are some of the main things that you can highlight for us today that would maybe hinder what would be a very good agenda?
The first one is the high cost of land. There's a lot of land that's on speculative basis, so there's a lot of speculative land, and this creates a high cost. And land is almost, depending on location and access to commuter nodes, access to bus stages, shopping centers, health facilities, schools, land can cost approximately 10 to 30% of the total project cost. The other one is the cost of infrastructure. If we understand what has been happening in the past, the government has been unable to provide infrastructure to various gated communities, and also infrastructure to various towns and villages. I mean, you look at the state of sewage systems. Nairobi, only 30% of people get tap water. Yeah, so it's serious, and we also understand from the government's point of view that the money is the big issue.
And what are some of the incentives you think the government can offer the private sector so that you can actually chip in and get to deliver?
We've been talking to the government severally over the last 3-4 months. With the current PS, Mr. Charles Hinga Maura, he's really proactive with private sector, and we've put in proposals for things like from exempt VAT to change it to zero VAT, where we can claim back all our VAT. VAT is 16% on our cost, and right now everything has got VAT on it. So if they make it zero rate and refund VAT, then 15% of our costs, almost 15-16% of our costs can come down, and which can then be passed on to for the affordable homes.
I read from your report, one of the things that you have proposed is the sizes, reducing the sizes of the houses.
Yes.
If you're to achieve affordable housing, or even trying to get into that space, don't you think that has some negative effect on the social environment for people?
If you look at other case studies, you look at Japan. As property prices went up, space is limited, then people go smaller. Okay, and they use their space more efficiently. And I think this is where this is the turning point that we are reaching now. We have to start using space more efficiently. If you look at buildings, there are some buildings that have got very large spaces, but you never use that space. It's all about now space design. For all practical purposes, a smaller size of house will still be practically suitable. Okay, it's just got smaller space, so you don't have the expanse of space, but it's still livable and affordable, and that's how it becomes affordable.
Numbers show us that 60% of the dwellers of Nairobi live in the slums or cannot afford the houses that you're building. So who do you expect to live in those houses, and when will this other space be filled?
Over the last 10, 15, 20 years, most developers have been developing middle and higher end housing because the margins were there. Okay, and there was a market for that. And what happens now, because the market was there, they were doing that because that's where they make their money. Okay, but things have changed. Now that market has saturated. So people are going on lower price points, which is where the demand is still. So affordable housing, there's tremendous demand. And as the government has also said, there's a shortage of 200,000 housing units every year. And that's a big demand. I don't think even the private developers put together can build that much in a year. We're going to try. We're definitely going to put our best foot forward.
How much do you think you can bring into the market now that if things were to go?
I don't know. These are still things that we're working on, and that's where our report is still alive. And we're hoping also to do a sample unit project as Kenya Property Developers Association. Hopefully we can get a few developers together and do one sample unit. Hopefully the government can provide the land. They can deliver what they're committing to. And then we'll see how it goes. It's not going to be a fast-track process. Everywhere we go, all over the world, we all start small and then we grow.
Housing is a devolved function. Do you think these counties are going to give you the space or are going to accept what you're trying to do as private developers?
We need the support of the counties, definitely. Counties need to step up their game. We need them to help us in the whole approval process. They need to also understand where we come from, because when land is speculative and we find it difficult to buy land, so we need the county to come and step up. They have to come with their special plans, their development plans, and they need to be transparent. We need to understand where all these development plans are so that we can follow how they want the county to grow. So it's important for us to work closely with the counties as developers. Yeah.
Finally, do you believe that this will work?
I think the will is there now. There's enough buyers, there's enough developers in the country. Yes, we could do with a few foreign developers, but not too many. I mean, they need to understand, but there's capacity locally. Okay, and we just need the commitment from the government. The government right now, and His Excellency is very committed, and I know that for sure. He's very, very committed. This is one of his big four agenda. The PS and the CS are very committed from the Ministry of Housing. It just now has to trickle down to all the sectors and arms of government in terms of providing land, infrastructure, and I think they're doing that because they've set up the project implementation unit with all these sectors of government all together. And the good thing is that the PS has asked us to represent each and every project implementation technical committees from KPDA and KEPSA to come in and help them define the regulations and to understand where they are coming from. So hopefully, we've still not yet started, but we are hoping to now start that discussions with them, and I'm sure that with the commitment that is there from all sectors, I think the affordable housing sector, we will crack this nut.
Thank you so much, Mr. Palkesh, for your time and very informative discussion. There's certainly a light at the end of the tunnel, and we do hope that this works, especially for the private sector who now want to get into that space and make affordable housing a dream come true for Kenyans.
For us, I think the journey to building our own home started way back. Started with buying a plot, and then to a place. Then we were expecting the amenities to come to that place, and when the time came, we decided let's start building a home. It was our first time to build, so there was a whole process of getting an architect, all those service providers on board. Then there's the other side of the government process. For us, it was Kajiado County. And there was a whole process of getting approvals. Approvals at different levels. And that was a journey in itself, and sometimes we did not anticipate such roadblocks. And the process did not stop there. Even as we began the process of building the home, you find that the council people would still come and visit, and sometimes would ask us about certain requirements that we are not made aware of before then. Now that meant that we have to hold the process or put in more resources of getting the next approval that we did not think about or was not even in the budget. So I guess if you can have that whole process, a place where we can, like a Huduma center, where you know all the information, that once you tick that box, you don't have to go back to it. I think that can make the process quite easy for especially first-time home builders. Yes.
I remember the feeling of the first time when we went. It was actually drawn, like by a marker, yeah? And then seeing it being dug, then the foundation and everything, it was quite interesting. And when you see now the spaces coming together, the walls, what did we want, for example, for the family spaces to be? So one of the reasons why we built there is that out of town feeling. So it was very nice that we would do that every weekend until the home came out. So I remember when we moved in, we actually stayed 1 year. Now I love dogs, Steve loves dogs, we got dogs. Then the kids, they have their own spaces. Honestly, when I used to come home at the end of the day, there was just that release that you're home, the atmosphere has changed, the environment has changed from the hustle and bustle of Nairobi. You get home and you're just feeling, wow, relaxed. And then some other things started coming up because, first of all, the issue of traffic. You would spend roughly about 2.5 hours to and from, coming to town and going back home. So, and not only for us, but also for the kids. The kids coming to school every day. That's the same amount of time we are spending on traffic is what also they are spending. So they go to school, first of all. When they get to school, they're tired and hungry again. And when they come back from school, tired and hungry, we're not able to also make it home early for them to be able to, for us to do homework. So that meant that most of the times would come when they are asleep. And that's not what we want for our family. We want to spend time together as a family. We want to come do homework. How was your day? Do other things that to help us bond, because that's very important for us.
Some of these things, we overlook them, or we don't spend much time researching on them to help in decision making. So culture shock hit us once we in that first one. Then there's the usual, we grew up in Nairobi. And so when we moved there, there's certain things that our lifestyle that we'd also still want to continue that kind of life. We want the same level of amenities around us, the hospitals, the leisure places, the networks, and that didn't happen. And we started feeling strange so much, because if it's a hospital, yes, there are a few other hospitals which came up, but it is not, you needed to be referred again. So that became a drain for us. And we started asking ourselves the hard questions. Was it really worth it? I think the issue of devolution must be looked at critically so that people feel comfortable living and working in the counties.
Having good quality schools, and then he mentioned even infrastructure. You find that, for example, that where you would live or maybe build, let's say in Kitengela, to access the area, the communities there have to come together and actually build access roads. So that's actually an issue, because we were envisioning somewhere that our kids would actually be able to walk to school. One of the things I would tell maybe potential home builders is just to look at, for example, their family life and their lifestyle, from their children, where they go to church. I think that's something that you need to look at. Where you work, wherever you're going to build, does it make sense? Then also one of the important things that people don't look at is your health.
A lot has to be done in terms of creating an environment where there's controlled development, there are policies around building homes, what are the kind of facilities that homeowners should enjoy or should be helped in acquiring. Is there a sewage system, or do you have to dig your own septic tank? Being connected to the main sewer line, electricity, internet connectivity, water and good water. That, in fact, water is very key. I think a lot needs to be done to enable even the middle class who have lived in Nairobi all through their lives and would like to continue with the same kind of lifestyle, to enjoy that in the satellite towns or out of town or in the counties.
It's been a great pleasure hanging out with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember to share your concerns and ideas with us on our social media handles, and let's walk this journey together. Until next time, asante sana.